Good morning everybody and welcome to Quartzsite. It is currently January 16th, 2024, not February like the last video. Anyways, I know I'm a little late in the weekly updates. We had quite a bit of wind last week, and if you know anything about drones, wind and drones don't really mix that well. So there was limited opportunities to go out and do a real good job of the tour, but today's a gorgeous day. So we're about 3 days into the RTR, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. The women's RTR has already taken place, and we're about 4 days away from the big tent RV show. So I figured this would be a great time to show you how busy it is here now that some of the big events have really truly started to happen. So this will be released in the two different formats. The first is the long format content, and it will be one long video that'll be time-stamped with different increments along the way. So like usual, if you are interested in just a dash cam or just a drone footage or just a certain area like La Posa South versus La Posa West, you can skip along and see the areas. If not, sit back and enjoy the show. The second part will be in different segments in separate videos posted in YouTube. The one thing I will say though is I kind of speak at random about the different things that people ask me about and the different questions they have. So if you're only watching one segment, you might be missing out on information you might be interested in. So if you're new to Quartzsite, thinking of coming to Quartzsite and wanting to learn about it, I highly suggest you watch the full thing, or at least the increments in different stages or different times. But if you're from Quartzsite, you just want to see your rig, just want to see how busy it is, you know everything there is to know, then by all means skip along and watch whatever suits your fancy. So that's kind of it. So I'm gonna hit the road, take you on the same kind of route I go on every time. So I'll take you to the big tent area, the Tyson Wells area, which some people have asked. Yes, that is still in Quartzsite. I'll try to go over that a little more in this video. And then we'll hit the 4 different sections of the LTVA here in Quartzsite. All right, let's go. I'll take you along. Okay, so I'm losing daylight quite quickly. So I'm gonna call it quits for La Posa South for today. And I'm going to head towards Tyson Wash now. So that way we can complete the quadrant of LTVAs for everyone. All the technical difficulties I've had today, it took me a little longer than anticipated. So yeah, gonna head to Tyson Wash and check that out. I've had some people ask me, some Canadians in particular, about what would you call it? Basically the legalities or what's required to come here. By all means, I'm not an expert, but this is my personal experience and input that I have to provide. Most Canadians who come across the United States end up coming here on a visitor visa. As Canadians, we can cross into the United States for 6 months on this visitor visa. You may not know it's called a visitor visa because you're simply crossing the states, but that's what it is, a visitor visa. And this information applies to the visitor visas. If you're coming across on a work visa or a school visa or whatever other ways there are to enter the United States, I can't comment on. But as a visitor visa, it's just a citizen of Canada coming to the US, for example, to be a snowbird, we are allowed to be here for 6 months. So the only real requirement is that you only stay in the United States for 6 months. And if you do it, the border guards generally want to know what day you are returning. Make sure that is 6 months minus a day that you tell the border guards that is when you're returning. They don't want to hear, oh, I'll be back in 6 months. They want to hear the actual calendar date. 6 months minus a day from when you need to be back into Canada. So outside of that, there's all these other things that you really should look into or be aware of. But you would need your passport or enhanced driver's license or Nexus card to enter the United States, of course. So you'd have to have your paperwork, and you could enter for 6 months. Alright, so we're in Tyson Wash now. And I'll keep going on this topic. Outside of that, there's things you'd want to know. You know, to my knowledge, and double check with your provider. Car insurance and RV insurance is covered in the United States. Charge or cost to that. So, but make sure with your provider that is accurate. Likewise, you need to be back on Canadian soil within that 6 months to keep your car insurance valid. On top of that, you want to consider looking at travel medical insurance. Are you covered for travel insurance medically? So that's something else you want to look into. Another thing is our Canadian cell phone plans are pretty outrageous. So you're also going to want to look into adding either a US package or a US roaming package, or if you got Starlink, for example, then just only using internet-based communication services, because that will rack up you a pretty bill real quick, calling and using the American phone lines and their data services while here in the United States. So something else to consider. So double check your car insurance, double check what your cell phone or phone plan covers, if you have international or US. Yeah, those are the big things. So check medical, phone, car insurance. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Also, what most people don't know is that, for example, as a Canadian, you can come to the US for 6 months. If your passport or form of identification that you're using to travel is set to expire within 6 months, even if you're only going to be here for 3 months, if it's set to expire within 6 months, they can actually deny you access. That's a really cool RV. I really like the little patio they got going on there. Not too sure if that becomes a toy hauler or just kind of pops down. Anyways, they can actually deny you access into a country, and that goes outside of the United States, Mexico, wherever you want to go, Bolivia, Nepal. So make sure that your travel identification is up to date. The other thing you might want to consider learning about, at least, is your banking. What kind of banking fees you could potentially be looking at. Withdrawals, how are you going to withdraw money or pay for things. They will charge you for conversion, if you will. That's a really cool rig. I like that one a lot. Canadian to American transaction, conversion rates, all that fun stuff. So something else to look into. But as far as I know, the only true restriction, make sure you got up-to-date valid ID that allows you to travel into the United States and only be here for 6 months. Yeah. That's my biggest piece of advice. Yeah, so we're in Tyson Wash. As you can see, taking a similar route that we usually have. I recently met one of the viewers and frequent commenters on our videos today, and he was a very nice gentleman, and he was telling me that he bought his LTVA pass online, and that in order to bring your online, I guess you get some kind of code that you scan, in order to get your scannable printed online purchase into the sticker decal format, he was told he had to come to Tyson Wash to do that. You couldn't go to any of the other check-in booths. So that's something to keep in mind too. If you purchased your online ticket coming to Quartzsite, then come straight to Tyson Wash, and then you can transfer your digital printed phone QR code, whatever fancy thing they give you, into a physical sticker decal for staying here in Quartzsite. So another really good point and tip to know about. A little schoolie. Yeah. I think I've covered most of the things that I was going to talk about today. In regards to the RTR, it is a free event to attend, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. This video might come out just as it's ending, but good for future notice. It does take place at the Town Park ball field, same place the women's RTR took place, and it's the same place the co-ed RTR takes place. Alright, there's a little bell tent, cargo trailers. I personally haven't made it to the RTR yet this year. I'm hoping to get that done in the next day or two to go check it out. And yeah. The weather here has been absolutely phenomenal after we had the torrential downpours and then the freezing Arctic blast, or whatever they were calling it, that has actually frozen most of the country. We're having really wonderful weather here. It's usually been about 20-21 degrees Celsius during the day and not dropping below 10 degrees Celsius at night. So I'll post the Fahrenheits here for everyone else. I'm not very good with the conversion in my head all the time yet. Still learning. Guess that's the Canadian in me. Tour through here. Wolf pup. Tent. I've had a few people ask me to start doing the BLM lands, like the regular 14-day BLM lands, like Plamosa, High Jolly, Dome Rock, and all that stuff. I would absolutely love to. It's just a matter of time budgeting. I do all my editing for the videos outside because 13-foot travel trailer with 2 adults, a dog, and a cat doesn't leave for much room to do that kind of stuff. So between that and actually seeing things and doing things, filming the content, don't always seem to have a lot of time. But it's something I would like to do. So hopefully I can still at least squeak out 1 or 2 videos of some of the spots during this season. Because it is something that interests me myself as well. So it's on my hopeful itinerary to do. So please stay tuned, and hopefully I can fill that request for everybody. The other BLM lands also get quite busy during this time of year as well. So it'd be interesting to try and get there during peak season and show everyone just how busy it really gets. Quartzsite on the whole is just, it's pretty busy. You go into town and it's kind of a madhouse, honestly. I joke with people that I meet here and I say that there's some casitas and scamps. And I say that Quartzsite winter is about as social as we get. We spend a lot of the summer and spring and fall tucked into the mountains or forests or BLM lands, forest lands. You know, we'll stock up on goods and disappear into nature for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So it's really nice to come out here and socialize and meet with people and stuff like that. I really do enjoy it. Community is what a lot of people say brings them back to Quartzsite year after year, is the friendships and the people they meet. Like a little family away from family, if you will. My grandparents on my dad's side used to come out to Arizona every single winter when I was a child, and then as little I just knew that they were coming to Arizona. I didn't know that it was actually the Quartzsite area. And unfortunately, I never really talked to them much about it or asked questions. I didn't know questions to ask. So, but my parents and my aunts and uncles now have told me that, you know, my grandparents used to talk about, you know, these social gatherings around fireplaces and friends that they'd meet up with every year, and, you know, potlucks and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, this has been going on this is an old tradition that's been going on since since I was a baby, if not well long before that. So I think that's pretty neat that that's the case. Yeah. I'm sure things have changed over the years. You know, maybe demographics or the type, you know, there might be more nomads, I don't know, than there was 40 years ago, and maybe there isn't. Who knows? Maybe there's people that are watching these videos that have been coming for decades and they've got some input to that, but I really like the mix. I like how there's RVers and there's snowbirders and there's retirees and there's schoolies and there's full-time families and full-time nomads and just a real variety of rigs and people and reasons why they do it. I personally really like variety. I think everything would be so boring if every place looked the same and everybody was the same and looked the same and acted the same. But maybe that's just me. Alright. We're now going down the main strip of Tyson Wash. I had some people today ask me if the dump station was open. They had heard rumors that it was here, and it is not. That is here is the water fill station, and that's not running at all yet. So that's no. So I took a drive by and I stopped at the entrance booth there to ask them about it, just because after I was asked by one or two viewers this past week, and again even today, that they'd heard that the station was running. And then I saw this tank up here, and I thought, well, maybe they're right. Maybe there is just one dump station running, or just the Blue Boy station is open. And I stopped by, and the people at the desk basically said, no, it's not running. They've been running some tests. That's why these things are here at the dump station. They're running some tests, and as far as they know, nobody knows when it will open. So yeah, nobody has any answers. I'm going to squeak this in just in time for sunset, I think. Alright. There's some more rigs off there in the distance. Winnebago. Sun's just starting to try to set over the other side of the mountains there soon. Should have just enough daylight to finish this tour and get the drone up. There's a schoolie. Winnebago, cargo trailer, a nice rig. Not sure if you can see it through the sun. We got a Class A. Van. Another van. Got some full-time nomads here in a car. And a schoolie. All in a little off-road vehicle. Another schoolie. Dusty. Somebody's been ripping through here, kicking up the dust. The sun's low enough, it's just setting this the right way. We'll drive by the other pit toilet area real quick. And we'll get the the drone up. Saw this really cool fiberglass come in. Oh, there it is actually, I think. Baby blue and white. I saw them earlier coming in. Not sure exactly if that's a boulder. I'd have to stop by and say hi. Very cool. Dusty. Okay, and there is the other pit toilet. We'll drive by it real quick. Cargo trailer. Cactuses here coming up. There they are. I'll get the drone up here today. Looks like a good enough spot. Before we lose all of our sun, and you guys don't get a drone shot at all. Thank you everyone very much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. We'll get the drone up here and that will conclude this week's How Busy Is It tour.